Okay, students, before we can begin this top secret mission, we must review information we learned previously. Remember, the Cold War was the global ideological rivalry between the Soviet Union-led Eastern Bloc and American-dominated free world, and it emerged in the aftermath of World War II. It was fought on many different fronts. Remember, the political, economic, military, cultural, and ideological fronts. It led to the creation of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1949 and the Warsaw Pact Alliance. Today, we're going to explore one of those fronts, ideology, which used primarily through the use of what we call propaganda. We will then compare propaganda used to fuel fear during the Cold War to how propaganda is used today. Okay, I want you to quickly take a look at this video. I want you to describe what you see in the video, what the message of the propaganda is, who is the intended audience, and who do you think created this video?
Dum-dum, diddle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He'd duck and cover, duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you. Duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.
This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission.
Okay, now that you've had the opportunity to look at the video and analyze it a little bit, I want you to take a look at this image here and describe what you see. Who do you think the audience was intended for, and who do you think created it? Okay, now that you've had a chance to analyze a couple of pieces of propaganda, the poster and the video, let's talk a little bit about this term propaganda. So propaganda is an attempt to influence people's opinions or behavior through the use of specific images and words. Think about the image that you saw with the Statue of Liberty hanging over the continent and all the missiles coming out. It usually gives limited information like you saw there, and it's heavily biased in its presentation. Propaganda typically achieves its aims by generating an emotional reaction in the viewer. How do you think they felt looking at those missiles hanging over Europe, right? And so for much of the 20th century, public posters were used just like that as a common way for governments to use propaganda to persuade their citizens. They often relied upon simple images in order to manipulate people's guilt or fear and how they feel about the war or whatever event they're trying to portray. So one thing to keep in mind, interpreting a visual source like you did there, like the poster or the video, is very different when you're to interpreting words on a page, which is the case with written sources and what you're usually looking at in historical artifacts. So therefore, you need to develop different set of skills. I want you to start developing those skills and keeping everything in mind that you learned today. And I want you to think, if you think we still use simple images or short videos being in the digital age, I want you to think about that for a little bit. And for your assignment, I want you to find an image, a video, meme, or GIF, whatever you like, that you think could be propaganda used today. And I want you to write a 3-page essay describing it, just like you did in this lesson, and whether or not you think it is similar or different from propaganda used during the Cold War and why. I will be checking in on you within the next day or so have your questions ready. I look forward to seeing what you find.